recognized during a ceremony commemorating International Thalassemia Day. And the Health Minister underscores development of Thalassemia Hospital in Hurumale to be one of the strongest in the region. Welcome to the English News. I'm your host Malak Ahmed Fayaz. Now for the news in detail. Before we start the news, I would like to remind you all to stay safe. There's been a rise in chikungunya and mosquito-borne diseases in some areas. Take precautions to protect yourself. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu expresses his deep love and compassion for children with thalassemia. He made the remarks on a social media post commemorating the International Thalassemia Day. On the post, President Muizzu reiterated the government's unwavering commitment to safeguarding the health of children diagnosed with thalassemia. Addressing the priority placed on easing the suffering of thalassemia children and their families, President Dr. Muizzu disclosed the nationwide campaign initiated by the government in February 2024 to screen school students for thalassemia. This awareness campaign aims to reduce the birth rate of affected children. Additionally, President Dr. Muizzu announced a special allowance for all children with thalassemia starting from the following year. International Thalassemia Day, observed annually on May 8, serves to raise awareness in society and promote the provision of essential treatment and healthcare support for affected children. The active efforts of individuals and organizations in expanding thalassemia services were recognized during a ceremony commemorating International Thalassemia Day. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu presented special plaques to honor their persistent efforts and pivotal role in this endeavor. Two organizations were awarded plaques for their outstanding contributions to the expansion of thalassemia services. Society for Health Education, SHE, established in 1988 to promote health awareness in Maldivian society. Maldivian Thalassemia Society, MTS, established in 1994 by a group of parents with the central aim of protecting the rights of children with thalassemia. Additionally, 3 individuals were presented with their plaques for their special efforts in expanding thalassemia services. Nasrina Ibrahim, Dr. Naila Ibrahim Didi, Dr. Farzana Khatun. First Lady Sajida presented special plaques to individuals who have served the Maldivian blood services for more than 20 years, recognizing their dedicated service. Fauzi Ali, enrolled nurse serving for 29 years and 2 months. Nasriya Yusuf, enrolled nurse serving for 24 years and 11 months. Mariam Rashid Ali, registered nurse serving for 24 years and 5 months. Shifa Ibrahim, senior laboratory technologist, serving for 23 years and 11 months. Farida, attendant, serving for 23 years and 9 months. Hawa Nasir, medical laboratory technician, serving for 21 years and 5 months. Minister of Health Dr. Abdullah Khalil underscores the development of Thalassemia Hospital in Hurumale to be one of the strongest hospitals in the region, particularly with the provision of bone marrow transplants. During the ceremony marking International Thalassemia Day, President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu and First Lady Sajida Mohammed officiated, highlighting the government's commitment to improving medical services for thalassemia patients within the Maldives. Moreover, Minister Khalil stressed the priority of relocating the current treatment facility for thalassemia patients, with plans already in motion to construct a new building in Hurumale Phase 1. He assured that the new facility's design is underway with efforts to secure funding ongoing. He further reiterated President Dr. Muizzu's commitment to establish a comprehensive hospital dedicated to thalassemia care, which will include bone marrow transplant services and other necessary facilities. Additionally, Minister Khalil emphasized the importance of training medical professionals to staff the new hospital effectively, highlighting negotiations with neighboring countries are currently underway to facilitate this training. Regarding bone marrow transplants, Minister Khalil announced government-funded initiatives to send 10 children abroad for treatment, with 5 scheduled for mid-year and the remainder for year-end. Furthermore, the minister highlighted progress in making bone marrow transplants more accessible domestically with the initiation of the first phase on March 7th. 13 individuals have already undergone initial testing, marking significant progress. Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir engages in discussions with his counterpart, Minister S. Jaishankar. The discussions took place in a meeting during the minister's official visit to India. The meeting was held at the ITC Moria Hotel in New Delhi. The meeting, which saw the participation of ambassadors and ministry heads from both nations, centered on strengthening the bilateral ties and fostering collaboration on mutually advantageous fronts. Minister Zamir is also slated to visit the Maldives High Commission in Delhi, where he will interact with the staff. In addition, he plans to connect with Indian citizens during his visit. The official visit to India spans 3 days and is scheduled to conclude on May 10th. Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Mohammad Amin, has inspected the taxi queue at Velana International Airport VIA amid persistent complaints about its operation. To address the issues, the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation has launched a collaborative operation with the Maldives Police Service MPS and Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL. Reports of problems in the airport taxi queues voiced by both tourists and locals have been on the rise. Among the complaints received are instances of taxi drivers refusing to travel to certain destinations, overloading vehicles with passengers and charging fares higher than those set by the ministry. In response, the ministry established a taxi complaints committee to investigate public grievances and propose solutions. Investigations into received complaints have been thorough and appropriate actions have been taken accordingly. Accompanied by senior officials from the ministry, MPS and MACL, Minister Amin personally assessed the taxi queue area to gain first-hand insights into the operation. Furthermore, the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation devised a comprehensive plan for airport taxi management in collaboration with relevant ministries and MACL. The MPS will actively participate in the implementation of this plan, ensuring strict measures against illegal taxi operations, including those conducted by foreign drivers. The Maldives Fund Management Corporation, MFMC, signs an agreement with Atoll Works Private Limited to undertake a project involving the dredging, reclamation and revetment of 16 islands within Gafar Lagoon, Kaf Atoll. It marks the atoll's inaugural project of dredging multiple islands within the same lagoon. The agreement entails the development of 14 private islands and 2 luxury resorts within the lagoon. In addition, it encompasses the dredging of an extra 40 hectares of land, resulting in a total of 106.91 hectares to be dredged. The dredging and revetment operations come at a total cost of $36.5 million, a figure lower than ongoing dredging projects in the Maldives. MFMC has clarified that the dredging will proceed under contractor financing arrangement, obviating the need for upfront payments. As such, the dredging operations are slated to commence imminently. The contractor will recoup costs by dredging the islands and leasing them out on a long-term basis. Gafar Lagoon falls under the jurisdiction of MFMC for development pursuant to the Integrated Tourism Development Concept. With the conceptual master plan for lagoon development already finalized, the project is the government's inaugural venture under the Integrated Tourism Development Concept to lease private islands on a long-term basis. Island Aviation Services Limited IASL announces that the national airline Maldivian has conducted 124 flights since the commencement of the air ambulance service. It is facilitated by the government through the national airline. The ambulance service was inaugurated on March 1st in the Maldives, initially utilizing a Dash 8 aircraft. Subsequently, starting from April 15th, the service has also been operationalized with a seaplane, specifically a DAWC 6 Twin Otter. During a ceremony held at Velana International Airport VIA to commemorate the arrival of an additional ATR aircraft, Managing Director of IASL Ibrahim Yas emphasized the significance of the ambulance service for the populace. He also noted that over the past 2 months, there have been 124 flights, averaging 2 flights per day. The ambulance service marks a milestone in the Maldives as the first airborne patient transportation system. The government's planning is evident through the selection of 2 aircraft tailored for patient transport, ensuring readiness throughout the service duration. A dedicated team of 15 individuals comprising doctors, nurses and emergency medical technicians has undergone specialized training to administer the ambulance services effectively. Feneka Corporation Limited reveals that construction of a new power plant in Addo City will commence within the next 4 months. The contract for setting up a 32-megawatt power plant in Addo was awarded to Dongfang Electric International Corporation, a Chinese company, in April. Speaking to PSMNEWS, Deputy Managing Director of Feneka, Hussein Zuhuri, highlighted the challenging electricity situation in Addo even since the current government took office. He noted frequent power cuts across various parts of Addo over the past 3 months, with the existing power plant relying on at least 15 generators to cope. Additionally, Zuhuri revealed that the groundwork for the new power plant site is underway, with plans to hand it over to the contractors soon. He also said that the construction will commence once the necessary funds are available, promising a significant alleviation of the electricity woes of Addo. The existing power plant in Addo, established 24 years ago, currently operates at 12 megawatts during peak loads. The new power plant will be erected adjacent to the current one, aiming to provide uninterrupted electricity for the next 20 to 25 years. Fonadhu Island Council expresses optimism for the effective implementation of developmental initiatives within the social sphere following a meeting with Minister of Social and Family Development Dr. Aishat Shiham during her official visit to Lama Toll. The meeting, held at Fonadhu's Social Auditorium, was attended by Fonadhu Council, the Women's Development Committee WDC, and various administrative bodies operating in Fonadhu. Discussions focused on ongoing developmental projects and social challenges facing the island. During the meeting, Minister Aishat Shiham emphasized the importance of consistent support from councils in implementing planned developmental projects across Lama Toll. The ministry further highlighted its ongoing efforts in the region and encouraged collaboration to address social challenges effectively. Moreover, President of Fonadhu Council, Ahmad Riaz, affirmed the administration's commitment to initiating infrastructural projects in the region, anticipating increased settlement as a result. During the visit, the ministry also met with government-led administrative authorities in Fonadhu to understand challenges relevant to social and family development. Subsequently, Minister Aishat Shiham underscored the ministry's support in training individuals for the upcoming infrastructural projects. As part of the 2-day tour to Lama Toll, the ministry will inaugurate the UFA program and meet with the Lama Toll Council to further discuss developmental plans and initiatives. Nissan says it nearly doubled its full-year net profit in 2023 to 2024, but forecast a dip of around 10% for the current financial year. The Japanese automaker said demand was rising at home as well as in North America, Europe and China, where it has struggled to compete with fast-growing electric vehicle firms backed by Beijing. Net profit totaled $2.7 billion, up 92.3% on year, though Nissan expects that to fall to 380 billion yen in 2024 to 2025. Operating income rose more than 50% on year, the company said, citing an increase in sales volume, improved net sales per unit and disciplined management of fixed costs. CEO Makoto Uchida told reporters that the weak yen also provided a short-term boost to profits. The results struck a different tone to an announcement last month when Nissan trimmed its sales and profit outlook for 2023 to 2024, predicting a more modest net profit of 390 billion. Uchida said this year that Nissan had struggled with sales in the Chinese market where capacity is excessive despite improvement in recent months. China overtook Japan as the world's biggest vehicle exporter last year, helped by its global dominance in electric cars as firms such as BYD speeds ahead of international rivals. Takada told reporters that Nissan has made it clear it is not slowing down on efforts to expand its EV market. Uchida said in March that Nissan was focused on providing what Chinese customers want as the firm pledged to slash production costs for next-generation EVs by 30%. Nissan and Honda have said that they're exploring a strategic partnership in EVs to face up to a once-in-a-century upheaval in the car industry. Takada said that like Honda, Nissan has sent a message that it is being more and more optimistic about developing solid-state batteries and putting them into use. President Vladimir Putin warns that his nuclear forces were always on alert and that Russia would not tolerate any threats from the West. In a defiant address on Red Square before thousands of soldiers dressed in ceremonial attire, Putin heaped praise on his army fighting in Ukraine and accused Western elites of fomenting conflicts around the world. Russia will do everything to prevent a global clash, but at the same time they will not allow anyone to threaten them, Putin said, addressing the Victory Day parade. The May 9th parade marks the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II and has become Russia's most important public holiday as Putin puts the country firmly on a combat footing. The Russian president has repeatedly framed the current fight against Ukraine as an existential battle against Nazism. Putin has also upped his nuclear rhetoric. Earlier this week, he ordered the Russian military to hold nuclear weapon drills involving the Navy and troops based near Ukraine. Last year, Russia ditched its ratification of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and pulled out of a key arms reduction agreement with the United States-US. The Victory Day parade is held on Red Square featuring columns of Russian military equipment, including advanced missiles and air defense systems, as well as thousands of military personnel. Russia often invites representatives from countries it deems friendly to the event, though attendance has dwindled even before it sent troops into Ukraine in early 2022 amid a standoff with the West. 8 world leaders were scheduled to attend the parade, Russian state media reported this week, citing a Kremlin aide. The Kremlin scheduled a summit of leaders of the Eurasian Economic Union, a regional bloc of some ex-Soviet states, the day before the parade. Real Madrid produces a spectacular comeback with heart against Bayern Munich to reach the Champions League final, with Joselu striking twice in the dying minutes, earning from a 2-1 win to progress 4-3 on aggregate. Alphonso Davies smashed the visiting German giants ahead in the second half, but record 14-time winners Madrid produced a sensational comeback, with Joselu netting in the 88th and 91st minutes. Spanish champions Real Madrid face another German side, Borussia Dortmund, in the Wembley final on June 1st after they stunned the team they call their Black Beast. "It is something magical, there is no explanation," said Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti, revealing another electric night in the Spanish capital. Journeyman striker and backup option Joselu, on as a late substitute, wrote his name in Madrid's history books with his last gasp brace, giving Europe's comeback kings another night to remember. Joselu said that the comeback was with feeling and with heart, as the coach told them. Madrid had enjoyed the better of the match, but it seemed Davies' superb strike had set up a repeat of the 2013 Old German final in London. Instead, Joselu consigned Bayern to a first trophyless season since 2012, his first goal coming after a handling error of Bayern goalkeeper Manuel Neuer, who had superbly kept Madrid at bay until that point. Bayern coach Thomas Tuchel made 3 changes from the first leg, benching veteran Thomas Müller and Leon Goretzka, but the host dominated the opening stages. Neuer produced a superb double save to stop Madrid nosing in front, tipping the electric Vinicius Jr.'s efforts on the post and then saving Rodrigo's follow-up. Bayern's Sergei Gnabry limped off injured with Davis replacing him before England captain Harry Kane's first flash of danger, but Lauren pushed his vicious volley around the post. NASA says the first crewed launch of Boeing's Starliner spaceship to the International Space Station has been pushed to May 17th after engineers had a faulty work rocket at high-level stakes mission. The test has already faced years of delays and comes at a challenging time for Boeing as a safety crisis engulfs the century-old aerospace titan's commercial aviation arm. Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams were strapped into their seats preparing for liftoff on Monday night when the call for scrub came. Ground teams had heard buzzing from a valve that regulates liquid oxygen pressure on the Atlas V rocket meant to propel Starliner into orbit. United Launch Alliance, the Boeing-Lockheed Martin joint venture responsible for the rocket, initially said launch would be delayed to at least May 10th. But further analysis revealed the valve had sustained too much wear and required replacement. The rocket will be rolled back to its hangar for the repairs. NASA's Boeing crew flight test now is targeted to launch no earlier than May 17th, the U.S. Space Agency said in a blog post. Wilmore and Williams will remain under quarantine in crew quarters at the NASA Kennedy Space Center, the post added. NASA is banking on Starliner's success as it hopes for a second commercial vehicle to carry crews to the orbital outpost. Elon Musk's SpaceX achieved the first feat with its Dragon capsule in 2020, ending a nearly decade-long dependence on Russian rockets following the end of Space Shuttle program. Once Starliner is fully operational, the agency hopes to alternate between the two spaceships for taxi rides to the ISS. Even though the research lab is due to be mothballed in 2030, both Starliner and Dragon could be used for future private space stations that several companies are developing. That's all the news we have for today. Thank you all for watching.
ಸೌವಿಸ್ ಮೀ ಕೌಮಾ ಮುಜ್ತಮೌಗೆ ಲಾಬಯ ಮಂಫಾಯಟ್ಟಕ ವಕಿವಕಿ ಫರುದುನ್ನ ಮದನಿ ಜಮೀಯಾ ಜಮಾತಕ ವ್ಯಫಾರಿ ಇದಾರಾತಕುಂ ಕುರಾ ಮಸಕ್ಕತ ಹೋದಾ ಕಾಮಯಾಬಿಗೆ ಅಗುವಸಂ ಕುರುಮುಗೆ ಗೊತುಂ ಕೌಮಿ ಫೆಂವರುಗ ರೈಸು